What is up, guys? Beautiful gray Monday morning here at the Mint Hill Shoe Market, and you guys will be thrilled to know we are cracking open a new box today. You're probably like, I'm so sick of seeing videos about the SL2, hearing about the Adidas Auto-Zero SL2. Well, today we have a new shoe, the Mizuno Neo Vista. Well, I said new shoe. It's been out for a few weeks now, which means it's basically ancient history. Put it with the Mesopotamians. And I have dozens of people telling me their reviews on the Mizuno Neo Vista 2. It seems like half the internet has already run in this shoe. But regardless, we are still going to get some miles in for the 3 people who are interested in the shoe who have not bought it yet and not submitted their full 5-paragraph hamburger-style review to me on the Neo Vista 2. So buckle up, strap in. We're going to get some miles in the shoe that everyone and their mom is already running, and I'll let you know my hobby jogger 2 cents on it. Let us get into it. Hey guys, so you might be wondering why I have a Fleet Feet box here. Well, that's because Running Warehouse did not have my size when I went to go order it. So we have Fleet Feet today. So the Mizuno Neo Vista. This is, as you guys have told me, and you know I try not to listen to or watch or read any other reviews before I get mine in, but I couldn't avoid it this time because everyone's dropping me their full Shakespearean write-ups in the comments, and I've heard it's very soft, it's very bouncy, and it's a banger. That's what everyone's telling me. It's a banger. So I will tell you today whether or not I personally think this shoe is a banger. All right, now look at this. Boom. We have the Mizuno full tan cardboard box. When these brands, when they pull up with the full tan cardboard box, you know they take their environmental chops seriously. They're trying to conserve post-consumer products, and I respect that. So Mizuno, this is not my first Mizuno shoe. It's my second Mizuno shoe. My first Mizuno shoe is this guy here, the Wave Rebellion Flash 2. This is their plated speed training shoe. Neo Vista here is their plated relaxed training shoe or plated max stack cruiser type of shoe. So I actually have only gotten one run in this so far. We might need to get some more miles in it soon. My guy Rob Barnett, he's a beast. He put down a 2:42 at the London Marathon earlier this year. He told me he really likes the shoe for tempos. So I might need to take this out for tempo soon, or maybe the Pentagon workout on Thursday. We'll see. But now that we have the Neo Vista in the house, I definitely need to get some more miles in the Flash 2. All right, let me see if I can Kobe Bryant this guy. That was horrible. We're just going to let it rock, though. All right. Are you ready? I'm ready. You've seen the shoe already. Everyone's seen the shoe already. Let's see. Boom. Let's see how it does. Oh, wow. That is, man, pull up with that Tobias Funke. We got about 17 different shades of blue on this guy. I guess they really leaned into the wave aesthetic here. It looks like, man, it looks like a wave crashed into a blue dye factory. Should we count the colors of blue? Okay, so the upper is a dark navy. So that's one. We have a royal blue on this little Mizuno badge here, and then a sort of teal. So that's 1, 2, 3. We have a light blue here. That is 4. Now it's a little bit different from this blue on the bottom of the midsole. That's 5, which is different from the blue on the top of the midsole, which is different from the blue inside of the emblem. So that's 6. The blue on the back, this pull tab, that's a little bit different from any of the other blues. So we're now at 7 blues. Looks like there's about 2 slightly different shades of blue inside of the Mizuno logo. On the outside of the shoe here, would this be the medial side of the shoe, I think, or the lateral? So I think we're at 9 shades of blue, and then it looks like with this gradient, we probably have 2 to 3 different shades of blue, but I probably overshot in my counting here. So let's say 11. Mizuno Neo Vista 2, 11 shades of blue. So what is this shoe all about, other than being the bluest shoe in the game? So this is about comfort, it's about protection, it's about making it as easy as possible to run. Look at this, crafted to experience effortless performance. Now, I was at the running event last year, and I saw this shoe. I was able to hold it in my hand. I was able to push down the foam. The foam actually feels like it's a little bit firmer than the foam that I touched in the skeeters, man. Then the foam. We gotta clean up our workspace. You guys know how I am with that. Yeah, this foam is a little bit firmer, it looks like, than the pre-production version, which I am really glad about, and it does not feel like it's the softest foam out of any of the foams that I've touched this year, which is nice. I was a little bit scared this shoe is going to be too soft. That still could be the case, but for what everybody and their mother is submitting to me via Courseworks. You guys remember Courseworks? Oh man, I'm getting triggered now thinking about school. Yeah, via what everyone and their mom has already submitted to me, they say with their PDF formatted essays and everything, Chicago style MLA tech citations. I've heard it is very soft and very bouncy. You get a gigantic stack in the heel here. Let's see how it compares to the Skyward X. So I took a few shoes out here that the Mizuno competes with in spirit. So boom, Skyward X versus Mizuno. Skyward X is a lot heavier. It also seems like we get a little bit more foam. Now I took a few shoes out here that don't necessarily compete exactly, but this is the 1080 V13 from New Balance. This is also a shoe that is very soft and pushing in the foam here. This does have 300 miles, so it's softened up a little bit, but this feels a little bit softer than what we're getting out of the Neo Vista here. So I'm curious to see, is this going to be the softest shoe I've ever run in? Probably not, but the 1080 V13, reason I brought it out, this is my favorite soft shoe to run relaxed days in. Yes, it's my favorite over the SL2, which I've been hyping up. That is a more versatile shoe, but the 1080 is a really comfortable shoe if you're only looking for comfort, which is basically what the Neo Vista is designed to do. This is designed for the ultimate in long distance comfort, in endurance training comfort, with, boom, plastic plate in the midsole to add a little bit of, it's not necessarily even snap, it's just to give the shoe a little bit more foam than it otherwise could have. So in a shoe like the 1080 here, look at this, you can only have about 40 millimeters of foam non-plated with it being this soft. If you go any taller, it becomes an absolute mess. So that's why Mizuno adds the plastic plate in here. It's to stabilize that foam. We will see how it performs for some faster running. I'll try to do some pace pickup. I don't know about today, but throughout our testing, I want to see, can this thing hang? It also does look really long. Looks almost like an 11. That's another thing. My guy Ed Rios told me. Everyone else has run this shoe already. Ed Rios told me it runs a little bit long. So we'll see how that does. And then another shoe I wanted to compare it against really quickly, Nike Invincible 3. This guy has the soft and bouncy ZoomX foam, one of the softest and bounciest foams in the game. 1080 V13 is soft but not so bouncy. This is both soft and bouncy. Yeah, it feels like the Mizuno is a little bit softer, but the Nike is giving me a little bit more of that bounce back, which I would expect. So another thing that makes the Neo Vista unique, other than that massive stack of foam we're getting, is the upper. They went with this one-piece upper, which is a little bit, I don't know. It doesn't really fit the vibe of the shoe. It also gives me kind of a basketball shoe feeling in the back here with how tall it goes up. So it's a sock fitting upper that goes really high up the ankle, really high up the front as well. None of these other shoes we brought out today have that same upper, so that is unique. And when I first saw it at TRE, it felt unfinished to me, and I didn't think this was the same upper they'd send to production, but they did send it to production. There's a few more different shades of blue here than what we saw at TRE. That one was black and white, but it's an interesting look for sure. Yeah, now in terms of the design here, I'm not sure. It's not that fire. I don't think this merits a full-on bang or a fire. It's okay. It really is okay. If this were not a running shoe, I probably would not be having this on my foot. It does give me a little bit of an elementary school aesthetic, just a little bit. But I like what Mizuno is doing and that they're using the shoe. And this is what they told me at the running event. They're using the shoe to push the brand in a new direction, to showcase what their vision is for running shoes going forward. So they have the Flash 2 over there, which is their speed product. And this is going to become their hero product. That product at the top of the line for training. And then in the next few years, shoes like the Wave Sky, the Wave Inspire, these steady workhorse shoes that have been in the game for, man, put some respect on Mizuno's name, bro. They've been in the game since the 2000, putting up numbers. What have you been? No, I'm just kidding. You guys are great. But Mizuno's been in the game for a long time. They were one of the first, if not the first, to use this plate in their shoes to stabilize it, to add some more structure. And then Saucony put that in the Endorphin Speed a few years ago. And then the rest is history with how many plates we're seeing in training shoes. But Mizuno's been doing it for a long time. this is their vision for what the rest of their running lineup could look like into the rest of the 2020s and 2030s. So if you've been a fan of the brand and you've liked shoes like the Wave Sky and Wave Inspire, get ready for a lot of blue because it's coming to those shoes too. Let's get this guy on the scale with that, baby. I want to see, with this much foam, how does it compare to some of these other shoes out here? I might have to grab some of the, maybe we'll grab the SC Trainer V2 to see how it stacks up to that as well. All right, guys, the moment we've all been waiting for. How heavy is the Mizuno Neo Vista, which I believe translates to new view. Right? Is that right? 285 grams. That is very lightweight. Very lightweight. Oh my gosh. For how much foam we're getting, I'm impressed. Okay, this is the first thing that's getting me a little bit more hyped about the shoe. So comparison, New Balance 1080 for New Balance 1080 V13, 288 grams. A little bit less foam in here. It's also not as fun of a shoe, I'm guessing. I mean, everyone's submitted their Rhodes Scholarship application to me with the Mizuno Neo Vista review. So this guy is 288 grams, less foam, less fun. A little bit more padding on the upper. That's the thing with this Neo Vista, the new view upper. I guess Mizuno's vision for shoes is, let's just make them basketball shoes with no padding in the upper. It's a little bit odd, this upper. I'm not 100% sold on it. I do like a nice sock fitting upper, but it is there's almost nothing there. And for a training shoe, for example, take a look at the Skyward X here. You get a lot of support in the back, a lot of padding in the upper around the sides, and the tongue, which adds some additional weight. Let's throw this on the scale. But it is a very comfortable shoe, not just in the midsole, but in the upper. So this guy comes in at 333 grams. It's a little bit of a denser foam here, so that's something I'm going to be checking with the Neo Vista too, because Skyward X is one of the best shoes I've tested this year for bigger runners who want a fun ride. No matter the pace, no matter how long I was spending on my feet, this shoe is not going to bottom out, baby. That is something I'm a little bit concerned with the Neo Vista, because it does have that plastic plate. I have a little bit less of a, I don't know. The plastic plates tend to bottom out for me sometimes. The shoes with the plastic plates, like the Speed 4, it tends to not do all that much for me versus a carbon plate. And this is something interesting too. You get a lot of foam just chopped off of the bottom here. That's probably why we're saving weight as well. Look how much foam is missing off the bottom of the Neo Vista. I have to grab the SC Trainer V2 because this is something that New Balance does as well in the bottom of their shoes. They call it the Energy Arc. They have it branded. But here, this is the most, man, their new view for running shoes is maybe just no foam altogether. I don't know. Hold on, let me grab that shoe. Girl, I'm so sick of love songs, so tired of love. Why can't I turn off the radio? All right. So SC Trainer V2 comes in a little bit heavier. The foam feels a little bit denser, but look at this. So that's what I was saying, the cutout on the bottom. New Balance scoops out the foam in the middle here. The Energy Arc, it's supposed to add some more balance. It's supposed to let the foam squish out and then pop back off as it expands through your stride. But look at the new view. Look at that. That is a cavernous channel. Pull up like the Grand Canyon, bro. So yeah, what's this brand called? Mizuno just really lopped off a lot of foam here. I have a feeling this is going to influence the ride in some way, shape, or form. Stay tuned for how it's going to change the ride. And the other thing I'm noticing is it's offset. I'm not going to do the thing, but it's offset to the outside of the shoe. So it's not directly centered. If you look at the channel here, the Energy Arc of the New Balance, where the foam is missing, it's pretty much directly down the center of the shoe in the middle of your foot. So yeah, stay tuned for an update on that. But so far, man, the new view here, lighter than any of these other shoes. Let's throw the Flash 2 on because this is the Speed Boy. So this is coming in at 266 grams. You get a little bit less foam in here. It feels, I don't know. Is that? Let's throw the other shoe on. It doesn't feel that light. I guess it is that light. So yeah, the Flash 2, more the speed-oriented one, little bit lighter. I think the upper on here was really nice, actually. I remember that. And it fits really well through the midfoot and the forefoot. Man, I got to rip some pace in this guy soon. look at it. But the aggressive thing about the Flash 2 is that at the end, on the back here, they cut off the foam so it can be a little bit punishing if you're landing for more relaxed paces. The Neo Vista, the new View, is more designed for relaxed paces, so it's not going to be as punishing, and we get a nice sloping, gentle curve throughout. So one last shoe we got to pop on here, Nike Invincible 3. This is coming in around 300 grams, 303 grams to be exact. So a little bit heavier, even though it has that ZoomX foam, but you get more padding on the upper, a more traditional upper in the Invincible 3. So quick break here, quick question. What are the elements of the Neo Vista that are different than anything else on the market? Boom. Upper, number 1. Number of shades, the hues of blue, number 2. The channel cutout here on the bottom, number 3. And then the stack of foam, it's not super different than anything else we're seeing on the market, but it is pushing in a little bit of a different direction. So number 4. So you got sock upper, tall stack of foam, plastic plate with this gigantic cutout. And last thing I want to show you before we put it on foot, let's see how wide it is, because the width of these shoes is going to determine how stable they are. Skyward X is pretty wide. Our friend New View over here is decently wide as well. And doesn't look like it's as tall as the Skyward X again, but decently wide. So let's lace this puppy up and see if the Neo can sing. Because I'm so sick of love songs. We got to put this one on. I forgot. Why can't I turn off the radio? 284. Nice. Okay, that was a little QA check for you guys. So I always weigh both shoes to see, is one heavier than the other by a lot. This will tell us, are these brands pumping out consistent quality from the factories? Good job, Mizuno. Good job. Hey guys, so we are about to lace up the Neo Vista here, but we have a new sponsor on the channel. This video is brought to you by our friends over at Vuori. So I've been rocking with their Core Short, the 5 inchers. You guys know I love my 5 inchers. Just make sure you don't get them in a bunch. They're the comfiest brand in the game. Summer 2024, we are coming all for comfort. So if you're not familiar with Vuori, the reason I discovered them was I bought these pants at REI a few years ago. I think they're called like the Dream Knit pants, but I sleep in them basically every single day. Yes, I'm still in my pajamas, but these are the comfiest pants for recovery, for sleeping, for lounging. I'll make sure I put the link to these guys below. And then I've also been rocking with every day, because you guys know I like to do my doubles. So I'll do my morning run, I'll shower, and then I'll throw on the Core Short 5 inchers here. They have 5 inchers, 7 inchers, 9 inchers, line and unlined. They also have them with pockets, zip pockets, and the Elevate Core. They have a ton of different products, but I'd recommend the Core Short 5 inchers lined. I can throw them on after my morning run, after my morning shower, work in them with my little button down. They also have button downs. I haven't tried them yet though, so I have to maybe get them to send me a button down or something, but I did try their Strato Tech Polo as well, and it was pretty fly. So you can put these shorts on with your little afternoon button down and then pop out, go to the pool, go play golf, go to do whatever you do in the afternoon in these. So for me, I've been running in them and lounging in them. Some of the best shorts in the game. I got a bunch of them in just the same colors because I'm boring. I got the dark blue and the black. And look at these. There's a nice little touch here. So shout out to Vuori, man. We have a 20% off coupon code. I'm telling you guys know I have a full-time job. I work. I don't need to do any partnerships or sponsorships unless I really like the brands. And Vuori is one of my favorite brands. They're one of the only brands I've actually bought stuff from over the past few years because their products do improve my quality of life. Just waking up every day with the comfiest pants on the game. So shout out to Vuori, Dream Knit Pants, Core Shorts, 20% off. You can go to vuori.com/hobbyjogger and pull up with the Vuori swag. Shout out to them for giving us the 20% off Hobby Jogger discount. Thank you, Vuori. I have to pull up with the knife real quick. Bang. So first run, this is cool and everything. I am really interested in seeing how is this shoe going to be for 20-mile double days and long runs. Can this puppy sing when we're putting it through the paces for 2 hours? And man, ooh, that was a little weird. So on step in here, wow. Okay, a few things. It does have that feeling, the Hoka Skyward X1 feeling, the Mizuno Flash 2 feeling where it wants me up on my midfoot and forefoot. Yeah, same as that Flash 2. It doesn't feel as good for hanging back, and I can't stand straight on this. I need to be slanted forward. So it does have some of that heel cutout feeling, which is odd because this is not a shoe that needs to get around any sort of regulation. So that's the first thing. Other thing is, on step-in, it is soft, but there's a... Yeah, okay, so look at this. I've never felt a sweet spot just for standing, but it feels like it wants my center of gravity to be right up here. So sort of outside front. And then the other thing is the insole or whatever it is in here, it is very soft, but look how easily I just pulled that out. And it completely bunched up in my left foot when I got in here. And then it was super hard because it's a sock upper. It was super hard to fit my foot inside. So overall, this is a little bit of a weird fit. I don't want to have to fight a shoe to get my foot inside and to get the right fit. And that's a little bit of what just happened right there. So, I mean, it is very snug. Let's see. Okay, let's just lace this guy up. Laces are a little bit long. Now, I want to do a comparison to SC Trainer V2, because this is my current, well, it was my current favorite, actually, Skyward X. But I think this is most similar to the Neo Vista here in spirit, and still is a favorite of mine for these longer, relaxed miles with a plate. A little bit more pep and pop. Alright, got both these on. Let's do a quick little walk test comparison. So the Mizuno definitely feels taller up here. The SC Trainer V2 feels softer. I do feel a little bit more of a roll just in walking here with the SC Trainer V2. Also, the Mizuno is long. It is a very long shoe, long and boat-like. And from the top here, it does have that basketball shoe kind of vibe where the upper goes up super tall. Look at this. The upper is higher than my socks, which usually doesn't happen. That is really weird. Can you see this? Can you see that? All right, I think we have to do a quick jog test between these two. SC Trainer V2, Mizuno Neo Vista. Yeah, so walking down to the street here, the Neo Vista is soft, but it doesn't feel like that foam is compressing as much as the fuel cell, which is probably nice for a lot of people because this fuel cell foam was very soft and squishy. I'm thinking we're gonna get a little bit more bounce out of the Neo Vista here, and look who it is, our friend Dan from Longevity. We're gonna have some ambient noise today, but we're gonna get out here for the run in a second, so that shouldn't be an issue. But quick jog test here. Mizuno Neo Vista versus New Balance SC Trainer V2, brought to you by our friends over at Vuori. Look at this. Always free returns, just like Running Warehouse. I love that. Thank you, Vuori. Comfiest swag in the game. That should be their tagline. Vuori, comfiest swag in the game. I don't think that would hit their target demographic, but you guys already know. Vuori.com/hobbyjogger. Little quick jog test. Let's get it. So the SC Trainer V2 is not a low shoe, but the Neo Vista feels more than double the height. This is a very tall, stacked, protective feeling shoe. Also wide and boat-like. It's like a cruise liner. I called the Skyward X the Grand Wagoneer of shoes. If that's the Grand Wagoneer, this is the Lexus LX of shoes. Tall, protective. The LX is a car that can do it all. We'll see if this can do it all, but feels luxurious, smooth, and it's got that air suspension feeling that the nicest, best cars out there have. So we'll see. We'll put this thing through the paces. So let's get this other one on foot, and then we can just get out there and rip. I'm excited. A little recovery run action today. Plan for the run is going to be 10 miles just around the hood here. We did the 23-mile long run yesterday, so Not trying to push it too much. Maybe we'll throw a double in later, but I think we're just gonna do 10 miles easy. Let's get it in. So one more thing I did want to say. The nice thing when walking is that I don't get that feeling like it pushes me up too far on the midfoot and forefoot. So that's really just in stepping. It does feel like there's a little bit, yeah, you can see back here, look. There's less foam right here. So when you're tying the shoe, if you're leaning back a little bit, it feels odd, that duck spoiler sensation, but when you're walking and running, even just that jog, it didn't feel like I was going too far back here. So they call their rocker here the Smooth Speed Assist. You guys know how I feel about random marketing names. But man, we gotta fight. Oh my goodness. Can you see this? It's like, oh. All right, we gotta try that again. Lace it all the way down. Get it as loose as possible. All right, one more time, let's see. All right, there you go. Yes, you just gotta loosen it all the way. There we go. Bada boom, bada bing. And Mizuno did send these to us they did not send them to me. I bought them from Fleafy, but they sent them out of the factory with them laced all the way up to the top rung versus New Balance. Look at this, SC Trainer V2. It's not laced up to the top rung. So I guess they want you to use all the lacing holes here to get the best fit. This upper does fit well. It's just a little bit of a weird, I don't know. I'm not completely sold on it. I don't like having to fight to get my foot in. But all right, guys, 10-mile recovery run. Let us do it. Shout out to Viore.
All right, guys, so there is a lot of hype on this one. Let me just tell you, 1 minute in, I'm not buying the hype. I am not buying the hype on the Neo Vista. It's okay. First impressions here, it's soft, but it's definitely not the softest shoe I've run in. And it's not as bouncy right out of the box as the Skyward X. And it does have a little bit of that feeling where it wants me to land on the front of the platform. And the weird thing is, I got this from the SC Trainer V1 as well. It feels a little bottom heavy. It's not a heavy shoe at all, 50 grams lighter than the Skyward X, but it feels bottom heavy right out of the box here. So we'll see, we will see. One of the reasons I like the Skyward X so much is because I could just put it on for any run and it felt super easy to run in. This one, trying to run this relaxed pace here, it's punishing me a little bit, which is weird to say about a shoe this soft and this bouncy, but it wants me to land in a certain way for sure. And I don't know why Mizuno does this with their shoes. They have that heel cutout and it is present here for sure. By the way, I fixed, if you watched the SL2 long run video yesterday, I super glued the GoPro wand back together. So we were back in action, baby. I'm gonna warm up into this run. I did do 23 miles yesterday, so my legs are feeling not necessarily beat up, but I don't have probably as much pop as I normally would. But isn't that what a shoe like this is for? So yeah, we'll see. We'll warm up into the run. I'll hit you with an update in a little bit. All right, that was 1 mile, 7:56 pace. So far, it's not looking too hot for the Vista. My foot is sliding around a little bit. Might have to stop and do a retie. The upper feels hot with this sock material. And it's definitely forcing me to land and run in a certain way. The other thing is it's not as bouncy as I thought, and not as soft as I thought. It just feels like there's a ton of foam underneath my foot. This is what I did not like about the SC Trainer V1. It just felt really bottom heavy. And I'm getting that same thing here, where it just feels like there's a lot of foam but not really the benefit I would expect from this much foam. And I'm cruising at about a 7:58 flat pace, which is my recovery pace. And it feels fine, but I'm not sure. I think I'd rather have or just be as happy right now with the Saucony Tempest on foot, or the New Balance 1080, or the, I don't know, 860. And if I'm not thrilled to have this on my foot after a 23-mile long run, what is it for? Isn't that what this shoe is for? For those days when you're feeling super beat up, or when your legs have taken a little bit of a beating? Yeah, right now it just seems the midsole is average and the stability is below average. And the only reason I would run in an unstable shoe is if the midsole is great, if it's giving me a lot of bounce and a lot of pop. In this case, it's just okay. But we're only a mile in, so I'm gonna give it some time. I've been surprised before. Maybe I'll stop and do a retie here, see if a better, snugger fit changes anything. Then hit you with the update in a few miles, but let's do a little quick pause. Man, the shoe is already pretty tight, so I am cranking it down really tight right now. This is like cutting off circulation tight. All right, well, these puppies are snug now. Let's see if that does any better. Talk about puppies. Man, guys, get your pitchforks ready, because this one is not doing it for me. I know we're gonna have a lot of New View fanboys out there. It's gonna be like a Superblast situation. Somebody accused me of cognitive dissonance and said I couldn't properly review shoes because I didn't like the Superblast. And then he said I gave up on it and that disgraced my credibility or something. I said, bro, I ran 100 miles in that thing. Put some respect on my mileage. That's the one thing. You can come for my audio quality, but you ever try to disrespect my mileage? Do you know who you're talking to? Try to disrespect my mileage. Man, get out of here. That's a real Lexus LX. That's a real LX. Look at that. We saw one. So far, this is not a Lexus LX. This is more like a Nissan Armada. Infinity, more like an Infinity QX80, that up-badged Armada. So this thing is really putting me up on my toes. In a vacuum, that would be fine. I wouldn't take points away from a shoe for feeling aggressive. The thing is, they already have the Flash 2 in their lineup, which is supposed to be the lighter, faster, more aggressive shoe. So theoretically, this should be the more relaxed feeling shoe. That's better for spending a long time on your feet without feeling like you have to hammer pace. And right now, it's making me feel like I need to get up on my toes and rip. Similar to the Mach 6, which is $40 cheaper than this. And, dare I say, more fun and bouncier and a little bit softer. Which, we are gonna hit this thing with the Durometer too, because it does not feel that soft to me. And I want to make sure we get some data to back that up. So far, a little bit of a hot mess here in the Neo Vista. But we gotta, that's the thing. Oh man. I don't even. We don't even need any analysis on that one. You already know what that's about. Shout out to America though. So the super glue worked for 3 miles. So now we're back to holding the GoPro like a cup of tea. See if I can Amazon Prime one, get it in here for tomorrow. But so far, man, we're almost at 4 miles. Underwhelming is the word I'd use to describe this shoe. Underwhelming. The Asics Superblast, the most universally lauded shoe. You besmirch your name. You are not honorable because you do not appreciate the greatness of the Asics Superblast. So that was mile 5. We're hitting a little bit of a turning point with the shoe, and I've settled into 740 to 750 pace, and that's where the shoe is absolutely just locking me in. I cannot go any slower. So a little bit of a weird thing where you have this much foam, kind of like the Superblast, but it's not a great shoe for hanging back. And I have an issue with these shoes sometimes when, I don't know, why would you put this much foam in a shoe if you can't run relaxed in it? All right, so we're doing a little cornering test here though. Let's see. Massive stack of foam around our cliche cul-de-sac. Yeah, if you have any sort of heel instability issues, this thing is a wobbly beast just from how tall it is. Yeah, not as stable as the Skyward X, not as stable as the Superblast too. So I think I've figured out where the disconnect is with the shoe. It feels like I'm riding on top of the foam. That's the experience I'm getting. I'm just on top of the midsole. It's not cohesive. It doesn't come together. The best shoes work like an extension of my body. They feel like they're just another part of my foot. Skyward X, for example, when my foot was in that shoe, it felt like I was really inside of that shoe. Like it was a full experience. With this one, it feels like my foot is on top of the shoe. And that's the same exact problem I had with the Asics Superblast. You guys ever heard of the expression, missing the forest for the trees? Essentially means you're so focused on small details or one part of a bigger picture, a bigger system, the bigger equation. You're just focused on a little tiny thing and you miss what's actually happening. With this shoe, it seems that Mizuno missed the forest for the trees, because in this case, the trees are a lot of foam. And if we're focused on the trees, we're thinking, oh, more foam. That was mile 6. But more foam is better. We gotta jam a lot of foam into a shoe so we could sell more shoes. The forest, the bigger picture is that more foam is good in most cases because it's providing either more impact absorption, more bounce, or a more enjoyable overall running experience. Impact absorption, yes, that is happening with the shoe. But I'm not getting more bounce than a shoe with less foam. It just feels like there's more foam. And that doesn't make a more enjoyable running experience, just plainly having more foam. And that was actually my issue, ironically, or not so ironically, with the New Balance Fresh Foam More. Because the thesis of that shoe as well is more foam equals better. That's not always the case. How would that song sound if Neo sang it? I'm blue, and I'm so sick of blue shoes, so tired of bricks, so tired of hyping up shoes that are a miss. This shoe is a hot mess, and they're gonna be pissed that I don't really like the shoe. the shoe. All right, guys, we are closing in on mile 9 here, sending it home. And I'm picking up the pace a little bit, and the midsole is coming alive. That's the confusing thing about this shoe. Why do I need to run fast for the midsole to feel good? Makes no sense. But yeah, we're gonna send it home here, and I'll see you at home for the final breakdown. All right, guys, boom, 10 miles, average 7:59 pace, 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 17 seconds, in the very blue 11 shades. 11 shades of blue? Mizuno Neo Vista 1, put some respect on that blueness. Yeah, this was a little bit of a weird shoe, but Viore 5-inchers, bang, 5 out of 5 for the running performance here. Mizuno Neo Vista 1, I'm not too sure. Let's pop these things off. I want to hit them with the durometer real quick, because this does not feel like a super soft shoe. It is soft. It's not firm by any means, but it does not feel super soft. And everything, even these laces don't feel that great. There's something about, man, when all the elements of a shoe come together perfectly, it's really special. And this is not it. This is not a special shoe. This is the first edition. I'm sure they'll iron it out, but there's a lot to work on in this guy to deliver something that I feel is worthy of $180 price point. This just feels like a little bit of a mismesh and mash, just moshed together. Yeah, lots of foam doesn't necessarily make a shoe better. A rocker doesn't necessarily make a shoe better. It has all the elements to be a great shoe. Tall stack, big rocker, and a plate. But the thing is, with the tall stack, you gotta have some other benefit. With the plate, there needs to be a reason to have a plate in the shoe, either some pop or some stability. And I think this foam would do just fine without the plate, to be honest. And then third, the rocker. It's nice to have a rocker, but when that hinders the ability to run relaxed in a shoe, there's really no point. Look at this. They have that same cutout here as the Flash 2. They're doing the same thing. I don't understand why. Let me give some better lighting on this. You can see from this angle, look, this is where it comes up. Same thing on the Flash 2. A little bit weird, but let me go grab that durometer. We will see how soft is. Look at that. So that was the crinkle I felt on the left shoe, and I just ran on top of that the entire time. That is hilarious. Mizuno care instructions. All right, quick durometer test, so we can see, is this really soft? And then we can bang the last breakdown here. So let's zero this guy out. The durometer goes from 0 to 100. Can't even say that anymore because our guy Aubrey is canceled. But it goes from 0 to 100. 0 is as soft as it can get, and 100 is as firm as it can get. So on this scale. So let's see. This guy's coming in at 45 in the back and about 45 in the front. I usually try to get a reading on the bottom, but this is all rubber, so we cannot. By the way, good rubber coverage on this. It goes from the front to the back. I did not mention that. It wasn't wet or anything out here, so we don't really have any insights on how the rubber performed, but 45 in the Mizuno. Let's check now the Adidas Audizero SL2, which is a very soft shoe. Okay, 49. But that's the issue, is this is on the, what's it called? The Light Strike. Let's see if I can get a reading of the Light Strike Pro. This is a little bit of a tricky one. I can't get a reading on the Light Strike Pro, which is in the middle, just because of how this needle is. So, and that's what you're landing on. Let's see if I can get it. And no, I can't. All right, let me check the fuel cell. So New Balance fuel cell, which is probably pretty close to what Mizuno is going for. This is coming in at a 41. 41, 42 in the back, much softer. And then in the front, 43, 44. Hoka Skyward X. This is not the softest shoe in the world, actually. Let's check in the back. Hold on, zero it out. 51, 52 in the back. And then the front, If you see that, 40, 43, 44 in the front. Then let's check the bottom. Zero it out. 40 on the bottom. All right. New Balance Fresh Foam. So Skyward X, softer in that supercritical EVA than the Neo Vista, but we do have 100 miles on it. 43 in the back, the Fresh Foam. 43 in the front. So the Neo Vista, in terms of the, I don't even need to do the Invincible. In terms of the durometer, it's in the same ballpark as all these other shoes, for sure. It's in the same ballpark, but underfoot did not feel like the softest and squishiest. So in the same ballpark, the analytics are telling us it's not the absolute softest, but it's also not that much firmer. But all right, let's go do this breakdown. This is going to be a lot of work to clean up, huh? Does Neo only have one song that I know? They've just been singing the same Neo song over and over. All right, guys, 10-mile recovery run in the Mizuno Neo Vista. This first run review is brought to us by our friends over at, look at this, Bang, Viore, Investment in Happiness. Can you see that? Comfiest recovery gear, comfiest running gear, comfiest swag in the game. That's what this summer 2024 is all about. We're trying to stay comfy. We're trying to stay comfy. We're trying to stay cozy, and we're going to continue to put the miles in. Another 100-mile week last week, and we're gonna put up another 100 this week. Not exclusively in the Mizuno Neo Vista. Now, I'm not going to do a 100-mile week in this guy, but you heard me out there on the run in this shoe. It sounds like I'm tearing it to shreds. It's not a bad shoe. I don't want to tear it to shreds. I don't want to absolutely rip it to pieces into the ground. However, I do want to let you guys know, for $180, I'm expecting a little bit more out of a shoe, and this still feels like an experimental product. It feels really close to what I held in my hands last November at the running event down in Austin, Texas, one of the most beautiful cities to visit in our nation, the great United States of America. By the way, go ahead and check that out. Go run by the Ladyburg Trail. Go get some breakfast tacos at your nearest bodega. I don't know if they call it a bodega in Austin, Texas, but the breakfast tacos in Austin, Texas, on point. They even have vegan ones. They have everything that you can eat. But this feels pretty close to that shoe that I held in my hands at TRE, the running event. It doesn't feel like they fully refined it, fully sanded off the rough edges. Yes, it has a lot of foam. Yes, it has the plate. Yes, it has this crazy cutout. Yes, it has the sock upper. All of these elements could combine to make a special shoe. But as of now, it feels like Mizuno Control, Command C. Let me copy. Sock upper, that seems like a good idea. Paste. Big stack of foam. Let me paste that on my shoe. Oh, plastic plate. Well, we pioneered that back in the 2000s. Let's bring that around. Let's just combine all those different elements into one product and bring that to market, because all these different things together are what are getting Town and Country. Boldy James has a great song, by the way, called Town and Country, trapping out the Town and Country. But I'm glad that Town and Country saved me, because my grammar was getting a little mixed up there. But this has a lot of elements that could combine to make a great shoe, but right now it's just combining to make an okay shoe. 1 + 1 + 1 is not adding up into 4. Some reason, I think it's more like 1 × 1 × 1 × 1, and it's adding up to still be 1. There's 5 elements here that could add up to be a 5 out of 5, but there's some, you remember PEMDAS? They added the parentheses in the wrong place, they added the asterisks in the wrong place, and we're adding up to a 3 or a 4 here. All the elements aren't fully. It needs another day or two in the fridge. It's like a chili, right? A good chili. Day 1, it's pretty solid, but when you put it in the fridge, reheat it on the stove, add that little cornbread with the best jam ever from our friends at the Best Jam Ever with the hickory smoked maple added into that raspberry. Ooh, fire. It needs another iteration to iron out all the pieces. You got a lot of foam in here. It's nice and protective. I do get a nice slight bounce, but it's not the bounciest shoe out there. You have that supercritical EVA, which feels pretty soft and pretty tender underfoot, but it's not the softest and most tender ride out there. The fuel cell is softer, the fresh foam is softer, even a shoe like the Skyward X, not necessarily softer, but it feels like I get a little bit more of that dense squish. And then release, here I'm getting a little bit more of that squish without the release. So there's a bunch of good things going on in here. Protection is good, The rocker is nice when landing up at the forward part of the shoe, but when I'm trying to hang back and run a little bit more relaxed, it's goading me, it's encouraging me to run at a pace I don't really want to run when I'm putting on a shoe with this much foam. And this shoe is reminding me why, when I first started running, I did not like max cushion shoes. So my first two shoes were the Adidas Ultra Boost 22. That's a medium, moderate cushion shoe, kind of a do-it-all workhorse. I put 700 miles on that thing. Now my second shoe was the On Cloud Stratus 2, which for On, that was supposed to be a max cushion shoe, but On doesn't really do gigantic max stacks, at least until the Eclipse. So it was a little bit more of a moderate cushion, a little bit of a firmer ride, had a nice snap and rock to it. Also had a plastic plate to reinforce that rocker. That is a really underrated solid shoe, the Cloud Stratus. They're now on the 3. And then I experimented with shoes like the Bondi X, little similar to this, and other shoes like the New Balance More V4 at that point, and the SC Trainer V1. And like the SC Trainer V1, this feels like a lot of foam. It can feel like I'm fighting against the foam a little bit because there's so much of it, but I'm not getting a ton of bounce, similar to the Gel Nimbus. And it's reminding me why I did not love max cushion shoes when I first started trying and testing and experimenting with different types of shoes. Because just having a lot of stack, that doesn't make a shoe good. The stack needs to do something, either protection, comfort, bounce, propulsion, some element. It needs to add something to the ride. And for this one, it does have that protection, but I need a little bit more than protection at $180. And that's the other core issue with the shoe, man. At $150, I wouldn't be going as hard at the shoe. I would be saying still it's an experimental product, but it would be a much better buy. At $180, I would much rather go for a shoe like the Neo Blast for $140 if I wanted something protective. If I wanted something bouncy and fun to run in, I'd go for the Mach 6 at $140. The market is way too competitive for this to be priced as it is. And if it were offered from a brand like Asics or Saucony or New Balance, Nike, Adidas, I could see why it's $180. But Mizuno, I know they've been in the game a while. The Rider, the Sky, the Inspire. But this is a new line. Mizuno does not have the street cred in 2024 that maybe they think they do. And at $180, this is a tough sell. And I'm surprised that so many of you guys are eating this up and drinking the Kool-Aid, because for me, this is an average to maybe above average shoe on the first run here. So of course, it's the first run. I ran 23 miles yesterday. The thing is, my first run with the Skyward X, I ran a marathon, my marathon PR, I think 2 or 3 days before. I ran that shoe, and that was my first run back in a shoe from the marathon. So I'm not going to take it easy on this guy because I ran 23 miles yesterday. I'm expecting a little bit more. This shoe should be designed to support exactly this type of run. So as of now, the shoe is fine. It's good, maybe it's okay. It's not giving me anything more than $140, $150 shoe could give me. I would take the Neo Blast. I would take the Mach 6. I would take the SL2. SL2 feels softer over this guy. I'm not yet seeing that one thing that this shoe is better at than any of those shoes. This is the same issue I had with our friend the Asics Superblast. So maybe this shoe is going to be great for spending a long time on feet, but if that's the case, it should feel a little bit better for relaxed miles like we did today. Maybe it's going to be great for tempo, marathon pace, but if that's the case, why would the Flash 2 exist? And why would that shoe even be cheaper than this guy? So as of now, it seems overpriced, overhyped, and underwhelming. I'm sorry, guys. I know you probably wanted me to love the Neo Vista. A lot of you guys love the Neo Vista, but not every shoe can be a hit. We will get some more miles in this thing. If you have it and you absolutely love it so far, let me know what you are loving it for. Is it recovery days? Do I need to be, this is the thing, whenever I say I don't like a shoe, you guys tell me what am I doing wrong? Tell me what I'm doing wrong and why I should like the shoe. Do I need to run longer? Do I need to run shorter? Do I need to run faster? Do I need to run slower? I don't know. You guys let me know. Let me know why I'm wrong here. As always, guys, I appreciate you watching. We will be back tomorrow with another video. Mizuno New View 11 Shades of Blue. It's not doing it for me. Maybe it's doing it for you, but I'm not a rapper. One more thing, guys. So this is my issue with this shoe. It's not the softest, it's not the bounciest. That's okay. Not every shoe needs to be superlative. But I think what's getting under my skin is how much it's getting hyped up, because it does have one superlative, and that is newest. It's the newest. We always need to have newest. But sometimes we don't need the newest. Sometimes the shoes that have been around for a while, like the SC Trainer V2, the 1080, maybe those are better buys. So I need to do a better job on this channel of still highlighting some of the oldies but goodies,
like the SC Trainer V2 here and a lot of those shoes that released last year or the year before. So maybe we'll need to do a little revisit here, or some first runs on shoes that aren't just the newest. So stay tuned. We're gonna get back in the office, start cooking.